If you're looking to sell your business and you hear the term carve out, what does it mean and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan coming to you live from Austin, Texas on a perfect day to talk about sales and business and a fantastic day to talk about you. Coming to you live from Consulting Secrets. Okay, so you may hear the term carve out and you're like, hey, what does this mean and how could I utilize this in my business? Now, that term typically comes from a large organization, institutional brands where they have divisions. And they look at the accountants, the accountants look through the divisions and they're like, this division's not profitable or this region's not profitable. So what we're gonna do is we will go to somebody and say, would you like to acquire this section of our business? We're gonna maintain all the stuff over here, but we don't care about this anymore. It's not interesting. It's not shiny. It's not profitable. So we're gonna carve that out and we're gonna hand it over to you for either debt, for trade for stock, for money in the future. Think of it like sports. Sometimes there's a draft pick, right? They're like, hey, here's what we're willing to do. And sometimes companies will say, we'll just give it to you for free. Just take it off our hands. And you're like, hey, well, how could I use this in my business? Now, first and foremost, there may be multiple lines of your business. There may be a couple things that you do and you go through the numbers and you look and you're like, okay, this division is making money and this division supports the last division and then this division is making money. But this one over here, we got some problems in this division. We got some problems over here. So you may go to somebody and say, hey, I want to sell off this section of my business. I may want to sell off what I have going on here to make it profitable. Okay, so like when economies go down, you'll find that a lot of big companies will take a look at their projects and they'll go down the list and they go, okay, we're gonna send this off, we're gonna carve that out, we're gonna send this off, we're gonna carve that out so that they can free up some capital. So they're like, hey, we've got money to spend or we have the ability for burn, okay? So here's the thing. If you're looking to sell your business in the next 0 to 36 months and you're doing at least $2 million a year in revenue with a 10% profit margin, you should absolutely reach out to the Deal Hotline. 888-DEAL-919, 888-DEAL-919, and a member of my team will get back to you. No deal is too big. No deal is too big. So a carve out. And you're like, hey, Scott, I want to use this for my business. Hopefully, like your brain's going, hey, there's ways that I can make this work for me. You could reach out to competitors. You could reach out to similar industries. What do people buy before, during, after, or instead of? BDAI comes from Jay Abraham. What do people buy before, during, after, or instead of? And say, hey, I want to buy your division. And sometimes these really big companies are willing to sell, I was gonna say smell. They're willing to sell off part of their division to a smaller company just to get rid of it if you can come up with the cash, if you could come up with the capital. And so where this becomes a play for you is if it costs you $200 to acquire a client and you do the math for how many clients that you're acquiring and you're actually buying them at 100 and you've got a new list of people to market to, this carve out could be very beneficial for you. This carve out could be very profitable because you're not fishing in the same pond as your competition. You're not doing the same thing. So you could go to big company and say, we want to carve this out if you're willing to sell it, or do you have a division you want to get rid of? You can go to local competitors and say, hey, I know that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you might have shiny object syndrome. Is there a way or a possibility that you want to sell off 1, 2, 3, 4 of those business lines and we'll acquire them for you? And so sometimes, like I get people contact me all the time. They're like, hey, Scott, I have like 9 businesses and I want to sell one of them. I started it. I got, 100 grand wrapped up into it. I'd be willing to get rid of it for 10 grand because I had shiny object syndrome. Entrepreneurs are like that. Entrepreneurs are like shiny object. Hey, there's squirrels over here, by the way. Squirrel, hey, squirrel. And so they go in and they invest in something new. You can utilize carve outs to your advantage. Right? You could either sell off part of your business that's not profitable. You could go acquire part of that business as a strategy. Like, look, you could literally go to Google and say, hey, what's a carve out? I would much rather give you some of the goods, the skills, the talents that you could use to make things awesomer for you, if that would be a word, if that's a fantastic word for you. I hope it is. So I would challenge you to think like today, what are 10 places I could go for a carve out? And if I was struggling in one of my 5 sections of my business, is it a possibility to pay somebody to take that over and then pay them on performance, right? This is like the extra bonus tip for you. You may be able to outsource that one task to somebody for a whole lot less and they're way more capable and better at it than you. So start thinking in terms of what could I trade? What could I do? Who could I bring in? Who could I draft, right? You got 1 of 3 things to do from here, just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.